Welcome to the Fibromyalgia Podcast. I'm Tammy Stackelhouse, fibromyalgia coach, author, and founder of the International Fibromyalgia Coaching Institute. The goal of this podcast is to empower you with access to the dream team of experts and coaches I've discovered are key to living the fibro life you love. From the comfort of your own home, and maybe even your pajamas, I'll help you take back control of your life and health. To help out with fibro fog, I always include full show notes and additional resources at fibromyalgiapodcast.com. Welcome to the Fibromyalgia Podcast. I'm your coach, Tammy Stackelhouse, and this is episode 74. I am so excited to be recording a new episode for you this year, and we are set up for a bunch of awesome episodes for 2022. Today, we're going to be talking a little bit about perfectionism and how it's actually holding you back from feeling as good as you could. In other words, it's always better to do something than to do nothing. So let me know. Do any of these scenarios sound familiar to you at all? You are getting ready in the morning, you realize you forgot to take your thyroid medication, which is supposed to be taken an hour before you eat, and you're ready to dash out the door. You've got to have breakfast, and so you just decide not to take it because, well, you can't take it an hour before you eat. You got to eat. Or maybe you think, gosh, I can barely exercise for 5 minutes. What is the point of me even going to the gym or trying to exercise? Or maybe you think, it's the weekend. I just want to have popcorn and soda and watch a movie. And so why bother trying to keep up with my New Year's resolution to avoid sugar for a few weeks this year? Or maybe you think, I don't know. Are these supplements supposed to go together? Are they going to conflict with something? So maybe I just better not take them. I promise you, in every single one of those scenarios, you would be better off to do something than to do nothing. I promise you, you're going to absorb more thyroid medication if you take it than if it stays in the bottle, right? So yes, taking it with food will keep it from absorbing as much as it could, but you're still going to absorb more than if you don't take it at all, right? Same thing with exercise, same thing with your diet, same thing with the supplements that you take. Right now in our lives, in our world, we are presented with a very perfect looking life. We see everybody's highlight reel on Instagram, on Facebook. We see the best days that they have. So when you're scrolling through your feed and you see your friend's dinner pop up, and it is beautiful, and it's gluten-free, and it's healthy, know that that is her highlight reel. That is maybe not her everyday moment. And I promise you, the best thing that you can do right now, especially at the beginning of the year, after our last episode all about goals and habits, right? We all started 2022 with great intentions for what we want to accomplish and how we want to feel. But now that we're a couple weeks in, we're realizing that, oh, guess what? We're human. We're human, and we sometimes want that pizza, and we sometimes don't want to do that yoga, and sometimes we don't want to take those vitamins or those medications. And so we struggle against this perfectionism and sort of feel like, well, if I can't do it perfect, I might as well not do it at all. Now, years and years ago, when I was very first working with my coach, Bonnie, this would have been back in 2009. So I don't know, gosh, what is that? 13 years ago now. I remember having conversations with her. I would do really, really well. My doctor put me on a gluten-free diet, and I would do really, really well Monday morning through Friday afternoon. About the time my husband was starting to get off work, we'd be starting to think about how we were going to spend the weekend. More times than not, we were going to the movies on Friday night. And of course, I wanted my big bucket of popcorn and my Coke Icy and my bag of Skittles. And yeah, not quite the diet my doctor had in mind. So I would get to the weekend, I would fall off the wagon royally. And the real struggle for me was getting back up and starting back over on Monday morning. And the biggest thing that I can share with you right now is that learning how to not be perfect, learning how to pick myself back up after completely doing all the wrong things has been a huge, huge factor in my success and in being able to have my fibromyalgia in remission. Because the reality is, we aren't perfect and we are human, and we're not going to be able to resist all the things and make perfect choices 100% of the time. And I know you're listening to me right now and you're hearing me say this and you're saying to yourself, of course we're not. We're human. Of course we're not going to be perfect. But stop for just a second. And I want you to think back over the last couple of weeks, the last couple of months, and think about your own self-talk when nobody else was listening. I promise you, there were times where you beat yourself up because you weren't being perfect. We all do it. This is also part of the we're not perfect, right? So we're not perfect about treating ourselves well either, right? So try, if you can, for 2022, if you could learn one thing for 2022, this is my wish for you. It's that you would learn how to pick back up and start over, even when you do it all wrong. When you eat all the things you're not supposed to wake up in the next morning, forgive yourself, and try again. You know the old saying, right? That the only difference between somebody who succeeded and somebody who fails is that the person who succeeded just got up one more time. I promise you, I have failed more often than you have. I have done way more things wrong than you have, but I keep getting up and I keep learning. So for 2022, my goal for you, my wish for you is that you would start to forgive yourself, start to be gentle with yourself, and start to give yourself the grace that you would give other people, that you would learn how to get back up when you fall off the wagon, and remember that something is always better than nothing. So take those thyroid meds while you're eating your breakfast, knowing that next time maybe you should try to figure out how to take it earlier. Or take those supplements, even though you're not sure if it's the best combination. Go exercise, go for a walk. Even if you know you can't do a 5K or what, some of your friends are doing, go for 60 seconds around your living room or dining room table or whatever. Like, just get your body moving. Do your best with what you're eating, even if it's not perfect, even if you fall off the wagon on Friday afternoons when it's time to go watch a movie, right? And if you are in a scenario where you are honestly thinking, I'm not sure if this is safe, then absolutely talk to somebody who can answer that question for you. If you're not sure about taking certain medications together or supplements together, talk to your pharmacist, talk to your doctor. If you're not sure about how to get back up after you've fallen down, this is a great job for your coach. My coach, Bonnie, she was the one that really helped me with this the most, helping me change how I talked to myself, how I approached getting back up again, how I restarted every Monday morning after falling off the wagon Friday afternoon. Bonnie was amazing for that. So, if you are looking for some extra support this year, of course, look to the people who are in your own life. If you have a doctor who's supportive of you, absolutely make use of them. If you have counselors, friends, support group, all of those can be super helpful. If you don't have those, or if they're not providing you the support that you know you need, I would encourage you to reach out and find a coach. We have a Find a Coach page. It's just findafibrocoach.com, where you can fill out an application to meet with one of our coaches for free. There is a small charge to meet with me, but to meet with one of my coaches, it's absolutely free. And in that consultation, we'll be able to talk to you about what it might look like to have the support of a coach in helping you improve your health. And that's where we can talk about what that might look like. We've got everything from brand new students to experienced coaches, even one-on-one VIP coaching with me. There's lots of options available, and you'll be able to read the bios of the coaches and choose the one that feels like the best fit for you. I also want to remind you that we have our Stories of Hope and Healing graduation event coming up on the 29th of this month, 29th of January, 2022. Now, I mentioned it briefly in our last podcast episode, but that is coming up. And if you feel like you need to hear some stories of hope, you need to hear about people who found ways to feel better. You need to hear about human beings who have done things imperfectly and still found ways to improve. I would encourage you to join us on the 29th. To register, just go to ifcigraduation.com. That's IFCI, like International Fibromyalgia Coaching Institute, ifcigraduation.com. You'll be able to register there. We will send you the link so that you can join us on the 29th. And after graduation, that's also where we will have all the goodies and resources. So I hope you'll join us. So for today, I just want to end with a small quote and, of course, our listener shout out. So listener shout out first, and then I'll leave you with a quote that sort of sums up everything we've been talking about today. So our shout out today is from a message I received on Facebook from Stacy, who did give us permission to use her name. She said, "Hi, Tammy. I'm so happy I found you. You helped me a lot. I truly was lost and had no idea what to do when I was diagnosed. I'm in hopes to be able to have a wonderful coach to help. I wanted to see, how do I get started?" So then I shared with Stacy what I just shared with you about going to our Find a Coach page to register for a consultation. And Stacy said, "Thank you so much. I'm really looking forward to talking to someone. I love listening to your podcast every day. It helps a lot. I have been to so many doctors and no one will help or teach me to understand fibromyalgia." She says, "I truly feel I'm on the right path by finding your podcast." Thank you so much, Stacy. I'm so glad that you found us, and I hope that you are finding your way to some hope and to some healing. So again, just go to our findafibrocoach.com page if you would like to register for a complimentary consultation with one of my coaches, and go to ifcigraduation.com to register for our Stories of Hope and Healing event, where you will hear from 5 of my graduates on what they've been doing over the last few months to improve their own fibromyalgia. Now, I'm going to leave you with a quick quote here, and I love this quote. It's pretty much everything we've been talking about today, about the fact that something is better than nothing. And this quote is from Teddy Roosevelt. He said, "The best thing you can do is the right thing. The next best thing is the wrong thing. And the worst thing you can do is nothing." So I hope that you will find yourself in a place where you Remember that something is better than nothing, and that if you can't make the right choice, if you can't do the best thing, do the next best thing, which is just to do something. See you here next time. And that wraps up another episode of the Fibromyalgia Podcast. I'm your coach, Tammy Stackelhouse. For daily doses of hope, inspiration, and practical advice, come hang out with me on Facebook. Visit facebook.com/fibrocoach to find my personal coaching page and connect with me directly. To find the show notes, additional resources, or to schedule a consultation with me or one of my coaches, visit fibromyalgiapodcast.com.